And the IMF, the second tranche, has been approved and released. Now, the Chronicle, on page 7 of the Chronicle, the headline here is IMF second tranche release. Stalled projects to take off. On the Republic Press, on page 3, the headline is IMF approves second $600 million tranche for immediate disbursement to Ghana. Now, let me just quickly read the one from Republic Press here. It says, International Monetary Fund has approved the second tranche of $600 million for Ghana. Now, the IMF announced this in a statement on Friday, the 19th of January, 2024. The executive board of the IMF completed today the first review of the $3 billion 36-month extended credit facility arrangement, which was approved by the board on May 17, 2023, as well as the 2023 Article 4 consultation with Ghana. The completion of the first ECF review allows for an immediate disbursement of SDR 451.4 million. That's roughly about 600 million US dollars, bringing Ghana's total disbursement under the arrangement to about 1.2 billion. Okay, so that's what's happening there on the Republic Press. We also have, I want to reference the issue of the stored projects taking off again. Now, the story here is in the Chronicle of the Chronicle newspaper, and it says here, the past week was marked by significant development in the public debt trajectory following the unanimous approval of Ghana's request for debt treatment under the G20 Common Framework for Debt Treatment Beyond the Debt Service Suspension Initiative. The government has been combining both fiscal prudence and debt restructuring measures to contain growth in the public debt, with a view to bringing the debt levels to moderate debt level from high risk of debt distress. Now, the official creditor committee decision to support the grand efforts of government is commendable and refreshing and worth celebrating. We, however, do so with caution that more work needs to be done going forward. Now, based on what's happening here, again, we have the hope that all the stalled projects that did get stalled as a result of putting a freeze on expenditure will then begin to take off. I think other ones, the last story that I want to read, it comes from the Daily Graphic, and it says here, IMF reposes trust in economy. It says elections will not derail the gains. And so there's different aspects, different angles that the different papers have taken so far on this. And let me start with you, Jeffrey, on this matter.
Yeah, so honestly, this move will actually cushion our economy and then also heal our existing fiscal wounds. We actually caused these wounds to ourselves. I mean, out of corruption, reckless expenditure, and also deliberate sit back and look at people, steal power and all those things. These are revenues that the state lost, granting one-ton exemptions. We didn't manage all these things very well. But when the loan came into question, we sat down to plan what we should have done. We have all the units in this country to do all these things that we are doing. There are units in charge. Yeah. Go to the Ministry of Finance, they have tax policy units, they have revenue units. I mean, the units were in place and all the agencies were there. Yeah. But we failed to use them or allow them to work. And so we arrive at this place. While congratulating them, I'm congratulating them for halting the embarrassing downgrade. I'm not congratulating them for doing anything new. It was a mess, and we actually contributed. It's self-inflicted. So I'm congratulating them only for halting it. It could have been worse, somebody would say. So once we've done that, it is important to reverse the trends with gross alacrity. Where we are, these are the issues. There is the issue of satisfied, late, agreed fiscal roadmap. We sat down, NGO, CSO, we all came with our inputs, stakeholder sessions. We made inputs. The ministry invited us. They also had their own plans, the IMF team. I think there's a wonderful work with the World Bank. Everything was done right. This fiscal roadmap helped. The next one was actually the activated fiscal discipline. I'm using the word activated because we sleep on it. When after some years you will see them go back to the old times. I'm hoping not this time, but we have activated the fiscal discipline and it's ongoing. The tendency of this being a temporal adjustment is not new to me. And then the low production in the face of high taxation. I mean, you are taxing high so much that some companies are folding or reducing or shrinking production. And then also the low participation in the high profit business activities, pushing the GDP. So the strategy, for example, how many Ghanaian companies are there? Is government really interested? Are we there? What about if we had our own rig? The one we sold to Angola. If we had our own rig sitting down here, drilling oil, the profits margins would have been different for us. So that's what I'm talking about. I mean, you are exporting cocoa without adding value to it. These are the things you should start thinking about. What's the roadmap? What's the way forward? Let's maintain and enhance the fiscal roadmaps developed by stakeholders and periodically review them. Let's uphold to high standard fiscal discipline. This is what we are doing now. Let's uphold to it. Sustain it is important. Improve production by connecting our training, skills training to industry and connecting industry to our raw materials. If you want to talk about production, don't be importing. Look, any country that is importing about 60 to 70% of their raw materials for production from outside, the moment you talk to Ghanaians about production, they say, oh, we are going to get the raw materials from here, from there. Everything you call production, about 70% of your production raw material should come from your country. And we have them. We have the cocoa, we have everything is here. We're just not adding
we even have lithium.
Look, I think sometimes I sit back and I'm like, God, why do you love Ghana so much? Just when the energy transition started, God spoils Ghana again. God spoils us. After giving us gold, diamond, bauxite, rubber, what else? He spoils us with lithium. And even that one, all of a sudden, what pushed us? We rushed into the deal. Look, so without lithium, we wouldn't have fed in this country. And all of a sudden, we rushed into a deal and do this for ourselves. And then at the end of the day, you get a minister come and tell me that, look, this is by far the best. It's like
13%.
Look, I liken it to the situation where a Ghanaian, track runner, goes to an Olympic competition. And then his record is, let's say, 9.20 here. He makes a 9.15. And it will be recorded in Ghana as the best record in Ghana. But then over there, maybe he's the last. He's the worst record in the Olympic books. That's what we're doing for ourselves. And then finally, I look at the expansion of the tax net. We have always said this. Look, in just a week, I was just helping a friend of mine to locate and rent a place in Dome. The prices were between 1,200, 1,800, 2,500, and 3,000. Are all these people being charged rent taxes per what they are receiving? No. Look, if you don't hold me, I'll say this is a joker's country. We are in a joker's club. We are sitting back, the property rates. And then some people go like, when I see the animal, what are you talking about? When I talk to man, we have a GPRT regulating the fare. When I talk man, were you the one who bought them the vehicles? Let's have the unions. They have the construction companies and they have their unions. Let's sit with them. We need to have a discussion in this country. I saw properties. The irony of it is that there was this property that was even better physically. You look at it, new and everything, and that was charging 1,800. The other old one was charging 2,500. Sana Mejeno. What sort of a joke are we doing? And you know what? With all due respect to Rent Control Office, they should set up, or I'll call personally, that please, let's disband that office. And then finally, I'll also go to the cut down of the corruption. We should cut down on corruption, fight corruption, reduce, and properly manage the exemptions. You know that 149 companies thing that we were going to give about $500 million. That's also hanging. In Ghana, when the discussion starts and it hits and gets to Parliament, and you see this discussion downing, look, some of us, we don't have short memories, so we don't. I was sitting here telling you about the Boku thing off camera, right?
Yeah.
I don't have short memories. Go ask KOD. Sometimes I am able to tell him some of the things we did when we were only 8 years. I don't have short memories. Jeffrey Ocansey, I don't. And I have records of even my national service, the card I used to collect my money. I was showing it to my wife yesterday. I don't joke with records. I'm a man of records. And look, just as we have the Hall of Fame in Ghana, I am going to be crying and pushing on Ghanaians. We should have the Hall of Shame. We should even go to exhume some people's graves and come and bury them in the Hall of Shame. Their names must appear as thieves. That thing we tag them and say corruption, mismanagement. No, they are thieves. Somebody stole a phone and you tag the person a thief and jail the person. Somebody calls this country, go and look at that thing they have dug over there in the name of God. God will surely punish people. I'm telling you, when this thing started, I went to my Facebook wall. Go and dig, you see it there. I said, and I challenged God, sadly. I said, if he's a God of Abraham and the God of ancient, he should prove himself, and he has proved himself. You see the shame they have dug over there? You see the shame over there? The biggest pit? It will be there. People must be assumed when they have died. Those who chop their monies. Look, crime has no expiry date. And if I get too close to any president or anything, that would be one of my agendas. Right. Finally, let me call for the need to develop a national tax strategy. This thing of sitting back and then every day, just when we wake up in the morning, as if by some beshi, you know, we just pushing one tax. We should stop it. Okay. Look, let's ensure a constant stakeholder discussion and have a 3-year strategic plan for taxes. Let's not just wake up one day and then we go for tax. No, we should stop it.
Okay, Paul. Good news for Ghana, right?
Sadly, I cannot say so. I will deviate a bit from where my brother, started from. Government says per the joint press release with the finance minister and the IMF that they have turned the corner. I hope that is right. Yeah. It's in the statement. If you have turned the corner, then it means that by now people should be having monies in their pockets. If you have turned the corner, that means we have employed a lot more people than we did years ago. It means both in the public and private sectors, we have employed a lot more people, right? If you have turned the corner, then it means that Ghana doesn't even need to go or continue with the IMF program anymore. But here we are, dancing and praising IMF for accepting to review the first tranche, giving way to the second tranche of about some $600 million to support our budget. That same $600 million that at the end of the day, we are awarding contract to SML, a company that was formed in February of 2017 with absolutely no track record, zero track record. And some 750 million Ghana cedis have been given to this company for no work done.
But the IMF says that they trust in where we are heading.
We're doing good. Don't go there. Listen.
No, I'm going there because that's what they said.
They are just using Ghana as a poster child.
No,
all right? They are saving their face. That's the honest truth.
How are they saving their face?
IMF is just using Ghana to save its face. Listen, we know what these Bretton Woods institutions have been doing over there.
What have they been doing?
And we know the sort of work they have done in other countries, and even with Ghana, with the 15 or 14 times that we have been to IMF, really, what have we achieved? Ask yourself. Nothing. What do we have to show for? Look at the sort of stringent measures they give us. It's not even as though the monies they are giving us are free. Listen, we are paying those monies, and we are even paying with interest.
We can't discipline ourselves, so we need somebody to discipline us and help us to
and then you tell me that you have turned the corner. It's a very laughable statement. When I saw it the Friday, I was like, Jesus. And we are happy as a nation that we are receiving $600 million from the IMF and telling everybody that, hey, we have turned the corner because we now have an inflation of about some 23.2% from the 52% that we used to have about 2 years ago. And we are happy because we have turned the corner. If you have turned the corner, why are you still going ahead with the program? The program should have ended the very minute the first tranche came in, and then you turned the corner, so-called.
No, but when we turn the corner, it means we are now headed on the right path.
You turn the corner.
Reached.
You turn the corner.
We didn't say we have reached. We've turned the corner, which means we are now on the right path.
You see, Ghana is now a laughing stock.
How is it so?
We claim that
The
we
Daily
want to be...
Daily Graphic says, Paul, Daily Graphic says, IMF reposes trust in economy. It says elections will not derail the gains that we have gotten. Good news.
What is it that IMF have not said about our country? Both the World Bank, both IMF. What haven't they said? That Ghana is the fastest growing economy. What haven't they said? And here we are, back at them with our arms wide open.
But fastest growing economy, this was before COVID, right? And then COVID came. And then they said that COVID, then Russia, Ukraine, all of those things derailed all the gains and everything else. And then now we are where we are.
Kwaku, let's not glorify mediocrity. I'm sorry. Let's not even go there. All right. We as a nation should have been deliberate about growing our economy. We as a nation should have put in adequate... Look, what did we do even with the COVID funds? Till date, you and I are still paying for COVID levy. Tell me if I'm lying. Look at the measures...
We are paying.
Thank you. Look at the measures government have had to put in place. Today, we are being asked to pay for an emissions, what? 15%. Some 100 cedis when you go to register your car at the DVLA.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's still e-levy. All right? So, with all these in place, then you tell me you have turned the corner with the first tranche of the IMF. And so, by virtue of that, you are going ahead to receive the next tranche. And so we should applaud you. I'm sorry, Mr. Finance Minister, I cannot applaud you on this one. We have failed as a nation into making sure that even with the little that we have, we are able to utilize them. Wanton dissipation of the meager resources that we have.
Yeah.
Look at the level of corruption that is embedded in our economy. All right? It's become almost or less the norm of the day.
Yeah.
All right?
Yeah.
Everywhere you go, every state institution applying for passport, there's still corruption. Recruitment in the security services, corruption.
Please wrap it up for me.
So, almost every facet of the economy is engulfed in one thing or the other. And so we take deliberate steps that even as an election year, we will discipline ourselves. Fiscal discipline is what we are asking for. Cut down on your expenditure. Cut down on the appointment of government appointees. We should cut them down.
Okay, all right.
All right. Let's cut down on our expenditure, and I believe with this, we should be able to safeguard the little that we are able to gather from the taxpayers' sweat.
Okay, all right.
That's what we are asking for.
Okay. Can you do 10 seconds?
Yeah, well, that's...
Comments?
Yes. Finally, I think this has been a very wonderful morning discussion. One hovering on creating that ambience, that security needed. Nobody will want to invest in any part of the world where there's violence. So it's an undertone for development, you know, so we need peace in Boko and all over the country, Ghana. Make sure we have peace. Finally, I look at the other side of it, where we're talking about this IMF deal. Look, this is what we should have done yesterday. If we are doing it today, I would like to query the child, but not throw the child out of the classroom. I think they are on course. They should maintain this one and grow our country. Let me also thank you, Citi FM, for the platform. I mean, I think these discussions are helping the growth of our nation. Thank you.
Yes, Kwaku, before we go, we are still going to the Paris Club and then our Chinese partners for a haircut, all right? We are seeking some 10 billion USD. That's some 40% of our 30-something billion dollars that we owe these external debtors, right? We hope and pray that they will listen to our plea, the Chinese partners in particular, and then the Paris Club will listen to our plea as a nation, so that 10 billion can be taken off, and then we see how best we can repay.
All right.
He must be an advocate for that. He's good at begging for money.
Thank you very
The
much.
20 billion that
I appreciate
we are due to pay.
They need to
I appreciate
engage you.
your
They
time
need to
this
engage
morning.
you to beg for the money for that.
Thank you very much. I've enjoyed this morning by Paul Eric Ofori. He's the head of research with COPEC, and also Jeffrey Kabutey Ocansey. He is the executive director for Revenue Mobilization Africa.